Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. You got it, DJ. There you are.
Sorry, I don't see myself. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am DJ Blue PDX. This is CLX Foundry Live. And yes, I've been missing for a week, but we are going to be solving that problem by jumping back in and having an amazing day with an amazing build. And we're going to be announcing the winner of last month's giveaway, which is going to be wild. I am joined, of course, by our lead technical expert today, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Gentlemen, I missed you.
Hello. We missed you.
But we've got a gorgeous thing to do today. We've got a gorgeous case for Caleb in Pennsylvania. Ordered this amazing PC. Where we got?
We have a custom configured RAW off our website. It's been a while since we've done this. This is the gold edition, as you can see. We really like this, so excited to build this. Starting out for our processor, we've got the Intel i9 14900K. And to cool that, we've got the Intermax 360 Liquimax 3. This is the triple fan in white. Looks really good. For our motherboard, we've got the Asus Strix Z690E. This does come with Wi-Fi and is a DDR5 board. For our memory, we've got 2 sticks of Crucial DDR5, 16 gigabyte, 4800 speed, so a total of 32 gigs there. For our storage, we've got a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drive, pretty top of the line storage drive right there. We obviously have the O11D XL with our custom royal gold print on it. We've got 10 of our Lee & Lee Uni fans in white. These are amazing. Excited to get into those and talk about those a little bit more. For our video card, we've got RTX 4090 from P&Y. It might be a first time we used a P&Y 4090 on the show. I'm not sure. It's been a minute. But we have used a lot of P&Y before. And then for our power supply, we've got a 1000 watt EVGA GT fully modular power supply, and we've got custom white cables to go with that.
All righty. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this is an O11. I love the O11s. This is just like the one that I have behind me that you'll be able to see in a second. But this is beautifully colored and designed. I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorites. And, of course, you can get these designs and more on a lot of our different cases. So, which is amazing. But while we're getting this started, Paul, let's talk about some of the really cool features of this case that make it very, very unique.
So the O11 XL is the larger version of the O11. They've got a few different models of them, but why I like this case more than the other versions is we have 2 hot swappable hard drive or 2.5-inch drive bays back here. It's obviously big enough to fit everything in it, so that's a nice plus as well.
All right. And by the way, we are live today on 4 different platforms. We are on, of course, here on the Kick, over on the Twitch, up on the YouTube, and, of course, on TikTok now. So, new things, new stuff.
Look at all these boxes.
But, yeah, no, I'm definitely missing from the window. You'll see my pretty face in just a second, people. Don't worry.
I love that we have
welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you all here. Look at that. Now, this is a really fun motherboard. This is, of course, our ROG Strix Z690E gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. We'll go through that I/O shield in just a second while we're getting things taken care of. You got this? Your self-confidence is real? Heck yeah. Right on, right on. Scott wins over there on the purple side. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to keep an eye on chat. If you have questions, make sure that you go ahead and ask them in the chat. We're going to do this as easy as possible. Do ASMR. Quentin, I feel like I already am. Philip is in the house along with Show No Mercy and Louis Vamp over on the red side. Cash out all my yacht for 2024 right now? Heck yeah. Well, that is the goal right here. Well, I'm glad you all are here. Now, while you're here, let's talk about some of the really cool features that ROG has plugged into this board. We're going to start with that I/O shield real fast. So up on the very top, you've got your display port and your HDMI. Down below there, you have 2 USB 2s, so there's the only ones on here. Then you've got USB 3.0s down below there. Below that is going to be your 3.2 Gen 2s, and then you've got a 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 on the USB-C side. That gives you 20 gigs up and down. You've got a your Ethernet port, which is obviously a 2.5 gig LAN port, and You've got both your Wi-Fi 6E antennas plus your entire surround sound array, which comes with 7.1 surround sound natively. Absolutely incredible. But that's not the only cool feature. So, Zach, what's something else that's really amazing about this board that, as assemblers, you all love? Paul, you could also answer this.
Well, number one is that quick release button right there. That is for releasing this top PCIe slot here. You can obviously see there's a lot of heat shielding around here. So getting your card out of one of these can be a little difficult. So it's really nice you got this button here, releases that, and then you can just pull your card out pretty easily.
Yeah. Yep. I agree, Mega. You can never have enough USB ports. I had to recently get what is it? Not a dongle, but a dock. Because Astro sent me a bunch of flight controllers for Star Citizen.
Ooh.
And I didn't have enough room I couldn't reach the cords. But you know what can reach the cords? This amazing, amazing processor that Zach is holding in his hand so effortlessly. This, of course, is the Intel Core i9-14900K processor. Now, this is a little different than, say, my processor, which is a KF. Paul, what's the difference between a K and a KF?
So the K stands for unlocked, which means it can be overclocked, and the F means it doesn't have onboard video. So obviously, you know, if you're going with a gaming rig and you're not worried about having onboard video, you can go with the KF to save a few bucks.
Emo Ninja, yes, we will be announcing that winner today, and we're excited for that. Temperance says, TJ, I have a 4-port hub in my system and then another hub outside the case. I need more USB ports. I just needed length. I couldn't get the controllers to wrap all the way back around the studio into the PC, so I had to get an extender cable and then a dock to do that with it. I hear the power tools.
I got the drill in my hand.
Now, normally you would just say X gonna give it to you, except for this is not what that's for. This is your back brace, and this is what's going to be used to help mount our cooling system. Now, for a cooling system, we're going to be using an Enermax Liquimax 3. It's an ARGB 360 AIO, which means all-in-one cooler. Now, these are great for many different facts, but Paul, why don't you walk us through what a 360 AIO is and how it works?
Yeah, so first off, the 360 refers to the size of the radiator. So this is a 360 right here. We can fit 3 120mm fans on it. That's how we get the 360 number. These usually come in a 120, 240, or 360 version. They do have other versions to fit 140 fans, but those are a little less common. And what's really great about these is the cooling they provide is just so much better than an air cooler once you start getting into larger radiators, and they're super easy to install. This comes with fluid already in it. We don't have to do anything. You can see Zach just put the back plate on, put his thermal paste, and now we're gonna put that on. Now, this is the most important part of installing your AIO. Some of them come with a little sticker plastic piece over the copper plate. So that's what Zach's pulling off right there. If you don't pull that off, you will definitely notice that your system is running way too hot.
Nice. Thank you very much. By the way, Lando over on the TikTok side says, I bought my PC about a year ago and it's so good. That is awesome. I absolutely love it. I know we've got some confusion over on the purple side. Hey, are we doing this? Is this a giveaway or customer build? This is going to be for Caleb in Pennsylvania, which is going to be awesome. Tiger Claw over here on the green says, hey, just wondering, I'm about to build my own gaming PC and I'm planning to get a used graphics card. What are some of the things that I should check for before purchasing a secondhand GPU?
Oh, that's a very good question. So the first thing you want to look at is the actual pins where the card connects. This isn't the card we're using for the build, but I'll just show you since I've got it handy. So what I'm talking about is this part right here. The part that actually, you know, goes into the motherboard. It's okay if there's a little bit of scuffs on there or something, but you just want to make sure that there's no like exposed metal or any damage there. Aside from that, look at your video outputs, make sure that they're all visible and that this plate isn't bent or anything like that. And then obviously if you can have whoever you're buying it from just show you that it works in their PC or just some sort of test bed setup, that way you know it gets video. If you want to be really thorough, you could have them, if it's plugged into a monitor, you could have them use a cable for each one of these outputs to make sure each of those work.
Nice. Zaprix over on the red side says, I would love that PC. It is gorgeous. Abel Hajar asks over here on Kick, What should I focus on a pre-built PC that will keep it silent when playing AAA games like COD, Battlefield 2042, etc.?
Okay, so what usually causes PCs to run louder is when things are getting hot and your fans are spinning up. That's really the main source of noise coming from your PC are the fans inside of it. So if you're running a AAA game and the hardware isn't, super high end or it's really pushing it to its limits when you're playing those, that's when you're going to notice it's going to be a little bit louder. So as long as you've got good cooling and stuff, it'll be quiet.
Awesome. Yo, no keys is the angle of the bald spot. Yes, also Quentin, that is important. It also has to do with reflections. Now, speaking of reflections, you can always get a nice reflection off of this amazing sticks of RAM. These are two 16 gig sticks of Crucial DDR5 4800. That's 32 gigs of RAM going into the system. So obviously this individual knew what they were doing. Speaking of AIOs, real quick, one more thing. The question is, how long does an AIO last before you need to replace it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So AIOs will last a very long time. I've been using the same AIO in my build for probably 6 or 7 years now. Obviously, it'll kind of depend on the brand and how much you're using it, but they should last you at least the life of your PC or even more than that.
Now, there's a question regarding the noise factor. And, well, I'm going to ask the question. It was a statement, but I'm going to ask it. Maklud mentioned that undervolting keeps the GPU noise down. How would that affect the card, though?
So if you undervolt it, it's going to run a little bit slower. So, you're going to get a little bit less performance out of it. But, if you got like a really awesome card and it's not struggling at all in the game you're playing, that is an option you could do. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but if you're, if noise is a big thing, that's, I guess, something you could do.
Speaking of big things, let's talk about that big thing that Zach is screwing back on right now. That is our heatsink cover for the operating system storage drive. Now, this is a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro. That's an NVMe M.2, plugs right into the board. It's got its own cooling system on top of it, which is one of the cool things about this board. That's rather unusual. You can see that little metal arm right there. If you could just point at that bar, that's actually going to help with heat dissipation all the way up and across to prevent your the potential for your M.2 to melt. So, good stuff. How big of a difference is DDR4 versus DDR5? Ninja Wolf thingy, let's go ahead and find that out.
Yeah, so DDR5 is going to be a lot faster than DDR4. Now, saying that, DDR4 is still very fast and is capable of handling, everything that's out there right now. DDR5 is still at that leading edge, so we're starting to see it be more common. I give it another 6 months before it's like the standard. But yeah, DDR5, it's going to be quite a bit faster than DDR4, obviously depending on the speed you get. But
yeah, I will say I went from, I believe, DDR4 to DDR5, and it was massive. But I was also on the low end of the DDR4, and I went to the top end of DDR5. So I went all the way up to 6,000, and I quadrupled my memory. So, yeah. The Freakin' Rican, I love that name, asks, how long has Zach been building PCs? He is efficient. I agree. Zach?
Sorry?
How long have you been building PCs?
I have been with the company for a little over 3 years now. Been building for, I don't know. Built one back in 2011, then built one back when I was 8 years old with my uncle. So kind of been around tech for a while. It's pretty fun.
So Dirty Yankee, by the way, what's up, Dirty? Dirty Yankee's over here trying to build this PC right now on our site. And so let me read this statement. I'm conflicted for my storage. Should I save money on an SSD or get an M.2? From what I saw, the megahertz of storage drives for games doesn't really matter. It's more so the big file transfers.
yeah, you're pretty much correct there. Now that being said, if you have a game on an M.2 that has like loading screens or stuff like that, your M.2 is, the game's going to run better on that M.2. It'll shorten up those loading screens. That being said, it's totally fine to have them on a storage drive. But if you got room in your budget, M.2 drive is pretty nice.
DDR3 to DDR5 must be an insane feeling. It absolutely is. It's wild. Absolutely. The loading time of my games is just ridiculous. Zach looks like Kurt Cobain.
In the good years?
In the good years, I would say yes. I loved Nirvana, so. I noticed that the RAM die have heat spreaders on them. Is that something that is seen on a regular basis anymore? Or don't have heat spreaders on them?
So yes, usually we see heat spreaders on RAM. It's definitely still common to not have them. These sticks of Crucial don't have heat spreaders on them. It's, RAM doesn't get super hot. Your case fans are gonna cool it, with whether you have them or not. I think really with the heat spreaders is if the customer or if you're wanting RGB on your RAM, that's really where that comes into play.
And Greg mentioned over on Twitch that Star Citizen, for example, looks really so much better in that too. I can confirm that one for sure. Tiger Claw asked an interesting question. Is there a big difference between PCIe Gen 4 and 3 SSDs for gaming?
So basically, just think of it as a generation. The higher the generation, the faster the drive or whatever you're plugging in is going to communicate together. Gen 3 is still very fast. I don't know the exact numbers off Gen 4 or Gen 3, but Gen 3 is still very fast. I believe it goes up to Gen 5 now, so it changes quite a bit, and they are backwards compatible, which is nice. So if you have a Gen 5 slot on your motherboard, but you only have like a Gen 3 M.2, that Gen 3 will work fine with it.
Yeah.
You just won't,
Nice.
You'll just run at the speeds of Gen 3 versus Gen 5.
Which is still blazing fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. Sasko mentions a lot of games, especially Unreal Engine, do texture streaming, so read speed is also going to count. Yankee's response was the game that they have in demand texture streaming deals with the storage it's on then, right? That's a good question.
What was that question? I'm sorry, DJ.
So let me just consolidate that. How important is read-write speed based on when it comes to the performance of a game?
So it's going to depend on the game, but generally it's not going to be super important. That read-write speed is more for transferring and all that good stuff. It does come into play for gaming for sure, but it's not something that I even look at, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, also VRAM. Now, so can you explain this to me? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about this. There's virtual RAM, there's video RAM. What is VRAM? How does it work? And why is it important in gaming?
Yeah, so VRAM is the video RAM that's on the video card. So essentially you're just making your system have more memory, and when your video card's doing its work, it's going to use the memory on that card first. It's going to be quite a bit faster than your system memory. But obviously if you're in a situation where, like the card we're using this is a 4090, it's got 24 gigs of VRAM, which is a ton. If that ever got, more than that, it would start using system memory and go that way. But
now, I do have a question. So if VRAM is for video, we used to have what we called virtual RAM or a paging file. What is that?
So virtual RAM for me, and maybe this is different in that application, but the only time I would use virtual RAM, the only thing I can think of is if you're running like a VM on your machine. So you've got like your system and then a virtual machine ran on your system, and then you're dedicating some of your system memory to that virtual machine.
Yeah. There we go. How to do this says, come to Pakistan. Hello, Pakistan. Hope you're having a great day or night, as I'm pretty sure it's evening or late over there. But welcome in. Glad to have you. Let's see here. You're running Windows 10 virtual machine on your Linux? That's brave. All right, now speaking of brave things, we've obviously got that case out there. You can see from this side the incredible filtration that's on the bottom. And that's the little tray you can pull out right there. It's got great feet set there. But one of the other things that you'll notice right now is where the I/O shield is sitting. The I/O shield is not sitting on the back of the case. It's not completely, again, this is what we call a 2/3 build. So your case is actually separating. There's a giant space behind where your motherboard sits. Paul, why is that important? How does that help? And what are those two doors below the I/O?
Yeah, so we're starting to see these case designs a little bit more common now, and what this is allows us to put some components on the back side where you don't see them. So for instance, our power supply is going to be in the back. You can see this hole right here. That's where our power supply is going to go. And then those 2 doors above that are extra storage options. So behind each of those, there's 2 trays. So a total of 4 extra options for 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch drives. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, in this case, they are hot swappable. So like this customer, it just has a single 2 terabyte NVMe drive. So we won't be using those bays, but what we do here is we plug those in either way. That way if the customer ever upgrades a drive and just wants to throw it in, all they gotta do is pull out that tray, install the drive and push it in, and it will automatically connect. That way they don't gotta run any extra SATA cables or anything like that.
Let's simulate. There's like, I'm not sure how I feel about a white and black build, but we'll see how it looks. It's basically going to be very Stormtrooper versus Darth Vader. What is the difference between Intel and Ryzen series? Asked a freaking Rican. A lot of people love Ryzen, but I've been seeing a lot of Intels being built.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you know, they're 2 different companies making processors. We typically see probably more Intel, but it's getting pretty close to being 50-50, honestly. The AMD new Ryzen CPUs that have come out are amazing. They perform really great. So really, we're at a state, we get asked the question a lot, AMD or Intel? It's like the age-old question. And right now, it's really up to your preference. Both are performing really solid. I believe some of the AMD processors, have an edge over the Intels in certain games and vice versa. So it's really, whatever you want to go with. There's not really a bad option right now.
Ghost Shield, hello, welcome over there on the green side. And just, yes, the giveaway is already closed for this month. We've got another one coming up soon, so stay tuned to future shows for more information about that. And we've got a question coming in from Watch This. I thought it said Wichita this, but it says Watch This 88. Just a question, but the pink case that you all have, is there a way to get it just the case, or do you have to do it with a full PC? What are the cherry blossoms on it?
I believe you have to buy the PC from us. That is something, if you want to reach out to our support, they might be able to get you taken care of, but for right now, I believe it's just the PC.
Reciprocal. What's up? Reciprocate. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Nelkeys asks, have you guys ever made a build that includes a Threadripper? Ooh.
Yeah, we used to do quite a few Threadrippers. It's been a while since I've seen one. Have you done one any recently,
yes.
Zach? Okay.
Yes.
Those are always kind of fun. Those processors are huge. I mean, they're like, we're talking like the processor itself is big. You're good.
Does that have to come with a special board?
There is it's a TR4 socket for that board, yes. So, it's pretty cool how you install those processors. It's not like what you usually see us do where you lay it in. It's got this arm that comes up, and then you slide in your Threadripper. It's got this orange thing with a handle on it. And then you lock it down with these 4 screws. It's pretty cool.
Dirty Yankee says, I love how professional y'all's setup is and how informative you guys are. Other streams do not compare. Man, we appreciate that. That is good to hear.
Appreciate you.
That's very good to hear. Coming back over here onto the Twitch side, we've got Cosworth asking, speaking of Intel, what do you guys think of the ARC GPUs?
Big fan, honestly. I really like the ARC cards. I like what they did with coming out and not trying to be like, oh, this is going to destroy a 4090 or just the most crazy awesome card. They made it, for the regular person, which I really like that they went in that mid-tier design. We've actually put a lot of those ARC cards in some of our DreamHack units, so they work really well. There was a little hiccups at the beginning, obviously, but that's kind of to be expected with anything new that comes out.
We got a special message in here from somebody who I know, and that is none other than the one, the only. It is BB Jazz. Says, hope you're feeling better, DJ. Also, theoretically, could we turn a giant empty shell of an animatronic mouse into a computer? Honestly,
absolutely.
That's kind of a genius idea.
Like a Chuck E. Cheese rig, that'd be cool. I mean, might be kind of creepy, but might be cool.
That's some Five Nights at Freddy's awesome stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my voice is. As the swelling goes down, the bruising is going to slow down. So for those of you who don't know, obviously I was out. I had an allergic reaction to medication. It was anaphylactic, so it happened multiple times over a period of days. And the amount of swelling basically bruised my voice box. So I'm going to sound 5 seconds from a serial killer for a little bit. But it's okay. I've never been stabbed with that many EpiPens that fast in my entire life. It was absurd. You sound hot, though. Thank you. It's none other than BB Jazz. Let's see here. Louis C. Vamp Solo says, I'm going to try for the next giveaway to see if I finally will win something. Hey, you know what? All it takes is one entry to go. Just the one. Honestly, I'm very glad I'm okay. It was, when it hit, I turned purple, and I basically passed out at one point, but they got it handled. I was in the hospital, and they're not going to let me die. So, you had an allergic reaction getting bit by fire ants? Oh, God, that sounds awful. Yeah, hot tea. I've been drinking tons of hot tea, so return to sender. Oh, need to have that laugh as a soundbite? Oh, God. My laugh is awful right now. It is like a high-pitched absurdity. And I can't laugh deep. It's... And that's what it sounds like. It's terrible. Oh, God. And it's, right? That is something that needs to be a thing. Teddy Bear Killer, what's going on, man? Does CLX offer sponsorships? And if so, what would they entail? That is a good question. That is something you can actually check out on our website. If you go to clxgaming.com and go all the way down to the bottom, you can go over under the communities tab, and there is a link that says affiliates. Go ahead and follow that, and you'll find out more. So Messiah over here on the green side asks, do you offer graphics card repairs? Ooh.
That's not something that we done or that we offer. You know, sometimes we'll try to fix a couple here in house, but that gets pretty in depth depending on what the repair could be.
Yeah, I would imagine that's a lot of troubleshooting, because it could be something as simple as thermal paste. It could be something exceedingly more complex.
Yeah, sometimes it's pretty obvious, you know, if like someone like smashed a screwdriver through part of the PCB or something like that, you know, it can be pretty obvious.
God.
But sometimes, you know, you can't even tell. It'll just be like a weak solder joint that you can't really see with your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Drivers are another thing that it could be. But... Oh, and Tiger Claw, it was kind of brutal, but it was also kind of funny. I mean, I haven't stayed in the hospital that long since I had my accident 10 years ago, and that was nuts. But I had marks evenly on all the way up both sides of my legs from the first 6, and then I had a 7th one in my thigh, and I think I might have had an 8th one in my butt in the butt cheek for the EpiPens, which was nuts. Now, speaking of things that are nuts, I want to talk about something that we've been putting in here, and these are actually really, really, really fun. When it comes to the chassis fans, we've got 10 Leon Lee SL120s, and they're white. Paul, why are these so cool?
So these are awesome because they connect together. So you can see these are the fans right here. There's no wires coming out, and that's what's great about these. They have these connectors. You can see the pins there and the pins there, and so you can make like a stack of these like this, and then they'll connect together, and then you've got your fans here, and then you just need to run power to one of them. So we'll do stacks of 3, stacks of 4 depending on the case, and then we'll just run this. So for this, we're going to have basically 3 separate parts of the case where we have fans, so you can obviously see them on the top in the AIO. We'll do another 3 stack on the bottom, 3 right here, and then 1 in the back. So for these 10 fans, we're only going to have 4 cables to manage. So that makes our life super easy as builders.
Yeah, and it's cool. I love it. It's kind of like Legos. You know, it's a little trick.
It's cool.
Scenario says, Cesario, how do you enter to win? So when we start our new giveaway, you'll get all sorts of options. You'll definitely want to pay attention to the streams. You'll be able to follow all the different following instructions. Plus, we'll have codes that we'll be able to use that we can give away. They're going to be worth tons of extra entries. It's so much fun. So much fun. But I would definitely say pay attention to our socials. That's CLX Gaming on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And then you can also check out our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. Great place to hang out. And we'll definitely give all of those, all that information there. Dirty Yankee asks, do they only offer those fans in white? I don't see them in black.
So it depends on availability, but they do have black versions of them. These fans are really popular, so they're kind of hard to get stock of, but there is a black version of them, yes.
And don't worry. Hey there, don't you worry. It's something that I've talked about many times on my own stream. I've talked about it here. It happens. Best thing that happened in my life. I wouldn't be doing what I do if I wasn't hit by that car. So at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. Now, speaking of things that happen for a reason, we have three different types of power supplies. And the one that we're going to be using today is a 1,000 watt EVGA Supernova GT. This is an 80 plus gold. But what type of power supply is this, Paul?
So this is a fully modular power supply, which means this is it right here. You can see we've got our inputs, and then there's no cables pre-soldered in. So the cables come in the box. But what's really nice about these being modular with no cables in is we can just use the cables that we need, and then the rest you can just keep an accessories box or something like that. That way when you're doing your cable management, there's not a bunch of extra cables that you got to tie up and worry about. What's also special about these modular supplies is that you can get custom sleeved cables like we've got here, and use those. So I'll be getting those cables out here in just a minute. We can show those off too.
Custom sleeve cables that are white? That sounds amazing. Now, ironically, that is what I have in my system, which is so much fun back here. And we've got a full white mod kit, which was absolutely incredible. Let's jump back over to Kick real quick. I got to ask a question. So, Ninja Wolf Thingy says, what should I go towards for my next upgrade for overall gaming performance? I'm currently running a 2060 Super, a Ryzen 5 3600, 32 gigs of DDR4 3600, and an ASRock B550M AC board. Yes. Interesting. Good question.
Yeah, so you've got a really good setup there, but if you're looking to upgrade, I would definitely go with a video card next. That would be the next upgrade that I would do.
Yeah, that processor's legit. That Ryzen 5, that's what I use in my streaming rig right now. I've had a Ryzen 5 3600X for a while, and it's a baller, and it's running a whole bunch of stuff right now, and even now when I pull up my task manager. To give people an idea, I'm running OBS, obviously, right? I have got my window for the vMix call going out. I have 1, 2, 3 different instances of Chrome, along with my GoXLR app, my Discord app, and of course all the Logitech control apps. And this thing is sitting at 85%, 88% usage. That is a ton of stuff. Because we're also in a Discord voice call. There's a ton of stuff right there. But if you're just going to game in it, man, that's grand. Although I will say, I feel like this has gotten up higher lately. But either way, what do you think the RTX 5090 is going to cost at release? $5,000? Probably.
That's a pretty good guess.
Yeah. Let's see here. Have you guys got any thoughts on the Vision Pro? Asks Expectation Met. Yes, don't use it if you are driving a Tesla. Ticketable offense, people. My cable management is an old box in the back of the closet. I hear you. I feel your struggle, bud. So let's see here. Splash Prince mentions, my friend gave me a Ryzen 5 3600, but it didn't work with my HP proprietary pre-build. Yes, true, and that is one of the problems there. Paul, can you talk on that one?
Yeah, so that's just something that some companies do. They'll have their own proprietary like motherboards and some other components, sometimes even video cards, designed to specifically fit in that one chassis, and it's not really, reusable in something else. That's not something we do. We use all name brand components. That way, if you were ever in that situation and you had one of our PCs and that chipset was the same, you could definitely upgrade, just throw it in, no problem.
Go Shield, Go Shahid. We've got that link is no longer eligible because we've already closed it out. That cable management is just terrible. You're building your wife a white setup with a 4070 Ti, and you're super excited. That's gonna be great. Is the Ryzen 7 3700X a good processor? Good question.
Yeah, for sure. It is a solid processor right there. It is, you know, getting to be a little old, but it's still a solid performing processor.
Yeah. One Gaming Crate asks, CLX or NZXT? Can you, honestly, CLX, duh.
Of course.
Emo Ninja asks, if I were to build a gaming PC on my own, would you recommend a CPU fan cooler or a CPU liquid AIO cooler for specifically reliability?
Honestly, the AIO for sure. Now the air cooler, very easy to install. It's going to perform fine as well. It's just not going to be able to. It's not going to be able to allow your processor to boost up as much as you would with a liquid cooler because it will, you know, downclock itself based on heat, and the air cooler is not going to cool as well as an AIO will. These AIOs are really easy to install. They can definitely be kind of intimidating to get into, but really, you know, you just take your time. It comes with an instruction booklet. Make sure you're picking out all the right hardware that comes with it. It will come with a whole bunch of different bags of hardware for all the different chipsets. So you just make sure you grab the right one that matches your chipset, and it's pretty straightforward from there.
You ever read something and realize that you read it wrong, go back and read it again, and then you start laughing because you figured out that it was so off from what it should have been, and you're still trying to figure out how you pulled it up? Temperance wrote, so you are saying it's a bit dated. What I read was, so you're saying it's a bit naked, and I almost said that out loud and then stopped because I'm like, that's not the word. That's not even close to the word. That's 3 different letters. Come on. No idea what's going on in my head. What GPU is compatible with a Ryzen 7 3700X? Right now, I have a 2060, but I want to upgrade to a 40 series.
Yeah, so all of those are going to be compatible with your Ryzen 7 build. You know, you could go with, you know, a 4080 if you wanted to. Anything's going to work. If you're going all out and going 4090, you might get a little bit of bottlenecking with that CPU, but really it should be fine.
Actually, Temperance is right. It's only 2. Speaking of Ryzens, it's crazy how a Ryzen 52400. Wait a minute, what? 5200 or 5400G isn't compatible with Windows 11. Huh, did not know that. Ryzen 5 2400G. Yeah, that's going to be early gen for that one. Yeah, so Paul, is that just because of its generation, the Ryzen 5 2400G not being compatible with Windows 11?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that or tried to make that work yet, so I can't really say. I know with Windows 11 there was a lot of weird stuff with it when it came out that we ran into some issues on that needed some fixing. So.
And Scott Wins points out, what's up, Scott? My Intel i7 7700 isn't compatible with Windows 11. My i7 6700 isn't compatible with Windows 11, so. Yeah. You just force it. Emo Ninja says, all right, and would the instruction manual come with how to clean the AIO cooler? There we go. That's the question.
So yeah, it might tell you, you know, what to do there or not, but really all you're going to need to do to clean your AIO, this is the part that's going to get dusty, this part right here. Everything else, you know, will be fine. Obviously you want to make sure that copper plate under there is clean when you're putting it on, but I'm sure it will be. And with this, you just take off your filters and wipe it down.
DJW338 says, no, I'm sorry, let's go back up. It's Gaming Creed mentioned, what is the highest Ryzen? I said, whichever one smoked more. What is the highest Ryzen chip? What's the best one they've got?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, if you're talking about gaming, like Ryzen 9, what is it, 7950?
Yeah.
X3D. But then, you know, you get into Epics and whatnot, but I guess those probably aren't considered Ryzen.
IRA made my GPU and ended up being a driver issue where Windows was replacing the AMD drivers. Oh, yeah, that happens. Let's see here. Cosworth asks, with the rise in performance of M2s and SSDs, do you think the sun is setting on the traditional mechanical drives?
Yes.
Good question, honestly.
Unfortunately, yes. Now, they'll definitely still be around for a while. I've got a big old 6 terabyte mechanical drive in my PC that ain't going anywhere. But, yep, it's definitely, you know, kind of the end of those. As soon as, you know, the price catches up and it becomes even just close to the same cost as a mechanical drive, that's when we'll really see them just fall off.
So, let's see here. Intel 9, Ryzen 9 7950X3D is going to be your that's going to be your big baddie. And everybody else is talking about the colors of the machine being a black and white. When are we going to get a Darth Vader build? And I was thinking, you know what you could do is if you were to drill a hole in that glass piece right there, you could aim a lightsaber straight through it at an angle so it comes out the front as well. That could be cool. That could be crazy too. Where's the red lightsaber build? Yeah, that would be, honestly, Bogey, I think that'd be great. Coming back down the questions, Intel 9 versus Ryzen 9. Thoughts? All right.
Probably personal preference, honestly. I know that might not be the answer you're looking for, but both are extremely high-end and are going to perform great. So, you know, just make sure, unless you just want to go all out and spend the money just because, you can by all means do that. But, you know, look at what you're trying to do. You might be able to save a few bucks going with like a Ryzen 7 or a Core i7 or something like that if you're not doing any really CPU-intensive things.
Yeah. Scott wins. Yeah, you're right. I remember that. Scott had a hard drive with all of his game saves just die. And it was a mechanical, so he finally got an M.2, and it took forever, but it did eventually get everything transferred off, which we were very, very happy about.
That's good.
So Teddy Bear Killer PC says, I got a bundle with the 7800X3D a month ago. Saved me $200 by giving the board RAM and getting the board RAM and CPU together.
Very nice.
The combo packs are always great.
Mm-hmm.
Are E-Machines computers still a thing anymore?
Man, I haven't seen an E-Machine in a long time.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cables out here.
I will snag CPUs.
CPU cables.
All right. Coffee Lord Casper says, what health percentage for SSD and M.2 should I start to worry?
What health percentage? I couldn't tell you honestly. If you see that stuff dropping, I would replace mine at like, if it got below 50%, I don't even know. I might even say 75%, something like that. Depends on what you got on there. You know, if you're backing stuff up, which you should, just back it up and run it till it dies. That's what I would do.
Let's see here. Ebo Ninja, we tend to not make comments about other companies. Is liquid cooling better than fans? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so, and I agree. Scott, I did the same thing. I've got my 1 terabyte M.2 for my operating system, and then I've got my 4 terabyte M.2 for all of my games. XFX or Sapphire? Asks El Southside.
XFX or Sapphire, that's the question?
Yes.
I tend to think Sapphire cards look cooler, but as far as reliability goes, pretty much the same.
Oh, I'm just catching up with the notes. Yes, good. Okay, I was afraid that I missed that. SSDs in read-only state, so you can read your data anyways. Oh, SSDs end in a read-only state. That is true. That is true. Zix, we're about to announce the winner here very shortly. We're getting closer. Getting closer. Are cheap 1 terabyte USB drives a scam? Yes, some of them are.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I forgot.
I have one right here.
I'm good.
I have one that I got for $40. I thought it was amazing. Guess what? It doesn't do anything correctly. It is useless.
I mean, it's the age-old rule, you know. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. Yeah, Splash Prints. That's exactly where I saw it. Exactly where I got it. $40 I'll never get back. But it was a lesson.
Ouch.
Right? They're just awful. You're currently, your old one is at 42%. All right. Yeah. Does anybody remember when we had all the weird air coolers? My last one, the cooler was Sphere, nicknamed the Orange.
Oh yeah,
The Orange.
yeah. We love seeing those old air coolers.
I have to look this up.
Looks like old alien technology.
The spin
The
cue.
Orange.
You just type in like giant air cooler, and I'm sure you'd see some pretty funny ones.
CPU air cooler. Oh, wow. All right, then. Cool. Yeah, that is definitely a different looking thing. That's kind of wild looking. Yeah, when we were last at DreamHack all together, which was in DreamHack Dallas last year, we saw some really amazing air coolers. I mean, definitely things I had never seen. Giant block coolers and different shapes that had, some of them had to be like suspended and hung from inside the case because they were so darn heavy.
Yeah, there's
Kinda
some
wild.
air coolers that are passive air coolers that don't have a fan on them. If I was gonna do an air cooler, I would like that just because it'd be even more quiet. But you know, it's those as far as performance goes aren't that great if you're trying to game.
What were the specs on your guys' first PC setup? Oh, God.
My very first PC. You want to
I
go
had-
ahead, DJ?
So my very first one is the one that I built myself, and it was not. Yeah, the kit management was just awful. I had a 2 terabyte hybrid drive back when those things existed, and it was an i7 6700K with 16 gigs of. I mean, it was low end DDR3, high end DDR2. I want to say 6700 was DDR3, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so it was base level DDR3 with a fan cooler and a GTX 1060. It was a 1060. That was what I had for my and I built that, and that's the one that took me 6 hours to put together because I kept having to take the damn motherboard on and off because I kept forgetting to plug things in. How about you guys?
Yeah, my first one that I built was probably in 2009, I think. It was an AMD Phenom 2. I think it was an X965 was the processor. It was the black edition. I don't even remember core count, threads, all that good stuff. But AMD Phenom 2 965. I had 8 gigs of G-Skill rip jaws. They're big red heat spreaders, DDR3, 2 4 gig sticks to get 8 gigs. And a RTX 56, or not RTX, geez, a GTX 560. I think it was like either a 2 or a 4 gig card, something like that. Maybe even a 2 gig, maybe less actually. So, yep, and that was a beast back then.
NVIDIA's going to make 1,000 FPS monitor soon. That seems like overkill. Wait, what are they going to be using? A CRT? Oh, an Athlon 1.2 gigahertz. Oh God, I remember those. I had one of those back in my very first music production rig was an Athlon XP, and that was a struggle bus. And I thought I was cool because I had 8 gigs of RAM.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody was like, "Wow, ballin'." Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was back in like, man, what was I playing on that? Like StarCraft 2 and Star Wars, the Old Republic MMO.
Oh God,
all that
yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
Splash Prince, would you guys consider wireless mouse as being better than wired mouse in 2024? Absolutely.
Never. Oh.
So I use the Logitech G502X Plus, and it actually sits on a charge pad that it interfaces with. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Zero delay. It is incredible.
Well, yeah, Nike knows. Yeah, I played a little bit of StarCraft 2 like a couple weeks ago. I got on, played one game, got destroyed by a Protoss guy, and was like, that was enough. I was trying to bunker rush him, but my APM is not good.
So completely off topic. Ninja Wolf thing, he says, way off topic, but do you guys believe in aliens? Yes.
Of course.
That's why
I
we
am
don't go
one.
to Alaska.
Yeah. What league am I in
We're
StarCraft 2? I'm not even ranked now. The best I ever got was gold. I was trying to push plat, but I was not good enough.
Now he wants to play some StarCraft with you. Heck yeah.
You got to teach me how to
The
be a better
TRS
Terran
80s,
player, though.
Kensu? Yeah.
I can't
I remember
micro
the
my Marines
original-
that good.
Yeah. I remember the old TRS 80s. They were, and of course, the very first Macintosh PC was just one little cream colored box.
Nice.
Yeah.
A local
Gotta go
Grandmaster,
fast.
That's
Vroom, vroom.
awesome. I loved the When I'm Grandmaster song.
Jesus.
You're probably familiar with that. It's a good old internet thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like
You guys
watching
have the
Cloud
4080
9 back
Super.
then.
We do carry the 4080 Super, actually. For information on that, just head on over to clxgaming.com.
Day 9
Yeah.
used to put out a lot of good StarCraft videos. Remember doing one with like wrist exercises to like not get.
Carpal tunnel.
Yep, yep. It's great.
Yep. Doing this thing,
Yep.
doing the whole stretching, because, yeah. I'm personally excited for the flight sticks that Logi sent me, because just because I'm playing so much Star Citizen lately, and these things
yeah.
are wild. I gotta show you this. This is crazy. This is just my thruster, right? Look at that thing.
Oh, sorry, Zach. Whoa. Okay.
This is,
I want to see.
and it's forward and back.
It's like an
right?
actual
this
aircraft.
one?
Like that's cool.
But you can pop it, and it separates them, and so they run individually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that
I have no
reminds me
idea
of
why
that.
that's a thing.
Left and right side.
Yeah, it's for your engines. So like when I was the aircraft mechanic back in the day, we'd have to fire up the jets if we were like doing a leak test or we had to run full pressure, and that's how it was. You got the aircraft I worked on had 4 engines. So there'd be 4 of those all next to each other. And you could throttle them up at the same
Yeah.
time, or you could just pick one engine and do it that way. You could set them all to different throttle settings.
I was blown away. There are so many little buttons and things on here, and so now I have to go into the game and map them all, or see if somebody has already a controller profile. But yeah, I'm so excited for that. I don't know where I'm going to put it though, like, because there's only so much real estate on this desk. You're thinking about getting it. You're thinking about getting it. I really don't have a comment on that because I don't know what that is, Zix. Navy aircraft mechanic? Yeah, I'm ex-Navy. I was weapons specialist. I was a GMM.
I was Air Force on the mechanic side.
Yeah.
The KC-135s, the big tankers.
Nice.
I
I got flown around to just different groups.
saw someone say they're in a Donkey Kong 64. That was a very long game. And you had to have the expansion pack.
Bogey asks, what do you think of vertical mice versus gaming mice?
Vertical
Oh,
mice?
is that these mice versus this?
Those are for aliens.
Right. Army? Nice. Thank you for your service, Sergeant Trex. Appreciate you.
I'm figuring out how to get this video card box open, and then we can show that in just a bit.
What do you mean figuring it out?
The stickers are being tough, okay?
They
got it.
outsourced to Lin Lee.
It's my first time. Yeah, exactly, on these stickers. They're extremely hard to get off. There we go.
Yeah, if come on. When I had my setup differently before I got this into the way it did, I had my whole. I've got all 3 walls are completely green screened, cloth green screened, so that I could do mocap work for any of the games I was working on, or that I could do VR and just be on the screen with the game.
Nice.
But now there's not enough room. Now I wish to God, because beyond that wall is our backyard, and I wish I could just dig out and underground under the backyard and just expand the space, which is impossible. So yeah. Kick flip king. No, we have not announced it yet. We're getting there. We're almost there.
Do a kick flip.
Almost to that point. All right, now let's talk about this. This is a gorgeous card right here. What we're going to be using for this is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. Now, this is by PNY. So, interesting design. Let's talk about the weight of this card and some of the things that you notice about it.
Yeah, so the weight is distributed pretty evenly across this card. It's obviously going to be a heavier card because it's a 4090 with 24 gigs of memory, but really it's probably a little less heavy than you would think if you were to grab it. It being this size though and weight, we're going to be using an anti-sag bracket in the PC to give it some support. But yeah, overall, really good looking card. I'm still getting the plastic off this thing, but you can see the back plate here. It looks really nice. We've got this opening for all of our heat pipes to go off so the fans can cool it there. Triple fan model. Just a pretty standard card here. Beast of it.
Uruz, by the way. Yeah, that's a big, thick one. Uruz asks, can you mount to the desk for that X56? That's something I'm looking at. There are screw mounts, but like, there's so much else going on this desk when I'm streaming. It's kind of wild. God tier cable management, you're darn right. He does not screw around with his cable management.
That's the best in the biz right here.
How much does this build cost? This build is going to run about $56.79. Do graphics card brands matter much? Are some brands higher quality? Asked Ninja Wolf Thingy. Good question.
Okay, so you're going to get a different answer depending on who you ask for that question. But generally, as a whole, the brand isn't the biggest thing when it comes to picking out video cards. It's what kind. So if you're going with the 4090 like this customer did, you got all the different brands: PNY, Asus, MSI, Zotac, a bunch of others I'm forgetting. All those are really solid brands, and they're all going to perform about the same. So really, when you're picking out a brand, if you just have some brand loyalty, some people really like Asus, so they just want Asus card. Totally fair, totally fine. But what I would look for in a build with that is look at the coolers that are on those different video cards and pick one that matches like the theme of your system. So if you've got a red theme going on, you could find cards with red coolers and all the different colors.
We've got braging, 9 I'm just going to say hi. It says, I'm getting my first PC from CLX soon, and I was wondering where I could find out what to do to get the most performance for my games.
What to do to get the most performance from your games? I'm not really sure. That depends on the components that you pick. Obviously, if you're getting it through us, it's obviously going to be professionally assembled. It's going to look just like this if you want this build.
And tested.
So, yeah. If you want to get more out of it, you can go for our overclocking options. That's a good way to get a little bit more out of your hardware and still be covered under our warranty and everything like that.
DJW asks, would it have a negative effect? Would it negatively affect components taking a power supply that is too high?
No. Having a too high power supply is not a bad problem to have. It's always good to have some overhead.
Let's see here.
Okay.
You're going to do that this year? You want to get an RTX 80 Super and an i9 1400K? Heck yeah. That sounds like a
solid build
pair.
right there, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Just rolling through all these questions. Is CLX partnered up with Best Buy?
We do sell a lot of our machines. We have a lot of them listed on Best Buy. So, yep.
Yeah. Hey there says, I know I'm a hardcore gamer, so you can't really go wrong with getting the best that you can. Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Future proofing is very important. You're running a Ryzen 7 3700X with a 2060, so I'm going to change the cooling system, but also want to upgrade. Nice. Nice. Is it better to go overboard on your motherboard so that when it comes time to upgrade, you don't have to disassemble everything?
I don't think so. My motherboard, the motherboards that I always use in my build are a really baseline motherboard. I don't go super low, but I don't go super high end. And that's because I don't really mess with any of the settings that come on the high end motherboards. I just want a solid, reliable board and then put more of my money towards CPU, GPU, memory, all that good stuff.
Straight for wind, hi, welcome in. Is liquid better or just for aesthetic? Liquid cooling is always better.
Mm-hmm.
And it tends to be quieter, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And you really whipped that thing up, Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Our desk was full
he's
of all
on
these
top of it.
cables, and now it's just all clear. Looks great.
2, 3.
3, I believe.
One gaming.
I'll use that.
You use this? Okay.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that is the retention kit.
I know sometimes I struggle with these on some of them. Seems like they like to
So,
pop off on me.
Yeah, ideally the trick is you don't bend at the closer.
At this part?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to bend at the plastic. So ideally the plastic is like your guide to show where you really want to start that bend at. So if we get that on, pretty much anything within like that 1/2 inch we don't want to touch. I don't like touching anything up to that 1/2 inch out. So that's usually where I just take my thumb and bend, do a nice 90-degree there, and I'll even do like a 180 because I want my bend here. I don't want any of this to bend as best I can. And then we can drop it in and that will look real nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I had to refresh my page and lost most of the kit chat. So my bad, everybody. But yes, to answer your question, you would not have to actually change out the liquid in an AIO. And that's what we've got here. This is a closed loop liquid cooler that you can see right there. That's been installed. But for an open loop system, that's a different story. Look at that big beast. Now, the one thing I want to point out from this shot right here, if you see that little bar down to the right there, that was installed as to help mount the anti-sag bracket. Paul, what is an anti-sag bracket? Why are they helpful?
Yeah, so what we started seeing when we started getting into the bigger cards was you'd see some GPU sag is what we call it. So right now, whenever you're installing a GPU, it's mounted right here, these screws that Zach's screwing in right now. But when they're really heavy, there's nothing supporting it out here on this end. So it can kind of sag down, and eventually that'll cause wear on your motherboard. It could break that whole slot off. We've seen that happen before. So these anti-sag brackets allow for just another support connection on this side. We like to use ones that mount to the case, like what this one does. It just makes it a little bit more rigid and just, yeah, prevents it from sagging at all. So definitely want to go with that if you've got a bigger card.
Let me jump to a couple different questions real quick. Teddy Bear Killa says, are there custom 24-pin CPU cables always flat?
I'm not sure what you mean by flat, but if you mean like how this one's set up, if we go back to our overhead and they're all, perfectly in line like that, that's because of these combs that come on it. Some cable kits come with a comb that you have to install. Some of them come on there. So that's what that is.
And so Zintaki, actually, we found that that's not really true. Most AIOs will last you years and years.
Oh yeah, many years.
And they're not super expensive to replace. Now, coming back up to something that the Splash Prince asked, what is the best way to get dust out of a PC? Like, what products sell the best air spray thing? And I think I'll let Paul answer this, but the one thing I would love you to also cover, Paul, is the positive pressure element, because that really does help keep it clean. So Paul, take it away.
Yeah, so for dusting your PC and just getting all the dust out of it, really any blower from whatever store you go to is good. The dust off, it's kind of compressed air. Now, if you're going to be doing it a lot, you can buy these. They're like handheld blowers that are really small and made for cleaning off PCs. That way you don't have to keep going through the bottles and bottles of duster. We've actually got a couple of those pretty recently, and I'm a really big fan of them. They're just battery powered. You charge them up, and you can just think of them as like a tiny little leaf blower, and that works really good without having, to just constantly buy more compressed air. But another way you can keep your PC clean is if you have it in a positive pressure setup, which means you have more intake fans than you do exhaust. So in this build right here, we've got 6 intake fans, these 3 back here and these 3 on the bottom, and then 4 exhausts. So 3 on the top on the radiator and 1 right here. And the reason we have it set up that way, if you have more air coming in than leaving, you've created a positive pressure environment inside of here. And what that means is all the air coming in is going to go through our filters. So it helps keep your PC a little cleaner. If we had this in an opposite configuration where we had more air leaving than going into it, it would create a vacuum in the machine, and your system would actually start sucking in dust and all these little cracks and crevices around the case.
Yeah. Violet Echo says, DJ, your PC is so pretty. Thank you. And it is definitely a CLX machine. Boys built it. And the reason I wanted to bring up the positive pressure, mine is a positive pressure machine. I've got 9 intake, 4 exhaust. So we've got much more air coming in, so it's pushing air out of those things. This thing's been going up for what, 6-8 months? Still haven't had to dust it. It's still perfectly clean inside. So it does make a really big difference on that level. And then Zeller says, it's weird. I could watch live PC builds all day. Thanks for this. Absolutely, Zeller. What is the CPU in this case? This is an i9 14900 KF. No, 14900K. Mm-hmm. Straight K. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me catch back up here. Always have a dust filter on your intakes. Yeah, that's one of the great things about the Leon Lee cases. In fact, Paul, do you want to show them?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just show you the top one. They're all pretty much the same on this case, but the top one's kind of the easiest to show you. So it's just a magnetic dust filter, and these just go right on top.
And they are,
you just line them up where they go,
useful.
And that's it. And then so say this PC's been running for a year, you need to clean it, it's dusty, just take your top panel off. You can pull this off right here, spray it down, wipe it down, whatever you want to do, dry it off, throw it back on like that. Super easy. And this case has these all around the case. So there's 2 of these on the back, and the bottom it's a little tray that slides out. So yep, really easy to do.
Yeah. All right. So what I am going to do is take a pause from the questions real quick, because I have a question for you. How many of you would like to know who won our January giveaway? Anybody?
Ooh, is it time?
Anybody? Yeah.
All
let's
right.
go. Okay. Our winner is on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. It is Puffer Fishy, and right here on Twitch, it is Mugen Shimpai. Mugen Shimpai. So I don't know if you're in here, but let's go. Congratulations. They have 24 hours to respond to the win. Otherwise, we will have another reroll. But that right there is the incredible PC that we built earlier this month. If you want to see it, there you go. You can also go back and look at our old videos. It's gorgeous. Absolutely breathtaking PC. Congratulations. So in 24 hours, they will have to claim it, and then blam. So once again, Mugen Shimpai. Congratulations.
Congrats.
There we go. Mugen Shimpai. That purple is beast? Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
Well, we are almost done here, DJ. We'll be putting these filters back on and our panels, and I think we'll be about ready.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, what I would love to do is take everybody here on our chats all the way through into our website so I can show you how to get your hands on one of these amazing PCs. At clxgaming.com, we give you all of the tools in order to build the perfect PC that meets not just your needs, but also your style. You can choose from AMD or Intel. We've got Radeon, we've got NVIDIA, we've got ARC. When it comes to graphics cards, all the things that you could possibly think of and need, we've got it. And you don't have to be an expert to build. In the event that you happen to choose 2 things that don't necessarily work together, we have a system that'll stop. That little add to cart button turns yellow. and it'll say solve conflict. So I like using this as a representation. If you choose a DDR4 motherboard, but you chose DDR5 RAM, it's going to say, all right, if you want to use this motherboard, you're going to have to change it to one of these RAMs. But if you'd rather use this RAM, you're going to have to change it to one of these motherboards. Then once everything's compatible again, you solve the problem, and that button goes back to green. We have options in our foundry such as overclocking your GPU, overclocking your CPU. You can even get upgraded thermal paste. That plus all sorts of peripherals. We've got capture cards. We've got streaming gear. We've got beacon mics and mix creates that really take your streaming up to the next level. You need a router? Got them. You need a chair? Got them. Need a monitor? Got them. We got headsets, controllers, mice, keyboards, you name it, it's here. It's a one-stop shopping center. Now, some people might think that that's a little bit overwhelming. Totally get that, totally understand. That's why we have dozens upon dozens of different designed setups that are already ready to go. It's our ready-to-ship pre-builts, and these can be altered and edited. If you see something like, I want to upgrade my hard drive, sure, you can do that. We can upgrade that for you and get that sent out. Those are tested and ready to go to a new home, and who knows, that home might just be yours. So for all of your future gaming needs, head on over to clxgaming.com and see what we can do for you today. Ooh, look at that. Shucky-ducky, that is gorgeous. Let's see here. I will say Zeller had a question over here real fast. I've been refurbing a Dell Optiplex PCs and turning them into gaming PCs for uni kids. Made a small fortune over the last 5 years. Uni kids love RGB. Yes, they do. Yep. Well, it gives you extra XP. And CLX is located in Wichita, Kansas.
It's the biggest fan right there, Mona Dota in the house.
Now, I do want to say one other thing real here. Now, Paul, I did mention something when we were talking about the RTS units. Where do these PCs go once we finish building them?
Yeah, so once they're done, they go to our testing and integration department. And so the first thing we do there is get into the BIOS of the machine. We'll make sure our RAM speed's set correctly. All of our storage devices are showing up, things like that. After we set the BIOS, we'll actually load the machine. So if whatever operating system you picked, and then if you picked any games, that's where we would do that. If you just picked an operating system, then that's all we put on there. We don't put any bloatware, any extra antivirus softwares, none of that crap is on our PCs. So and once we've got the system loaded, we will actually burn the system in or run it through a stress test for 12 hours, and that makes sure that everything is reliable. Sometimes you can have a component that, may cause allow the system to boot up, but once you're gaming, it has issues, and so that's where we would catch that there and make sure that you get a reliable PC at home.
There we go, and I'll just pin that, yes. Congratulations, Mugen Shipai. Hope I said that right. This case looks gorgeous. Now, it's going to be fun is seeing how this turns out, because once those lights come in behind it, it's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah. And you can already see lighting on the bottom where the power is going on with those fans. I didn't know the fans lit up on the sides.
That's just the glow from the studio light on the chrome on the light.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, good Lord. All right, let's go.
Oh, top button.
Let's see what he has.
Button I need to push. Did I push the right button? I need to turn the power on.
Whoa! Look at that. That's gorgeous. Nicely done with that perfect build. You've got that hex pattern, the honeycomb on the sides. The whole thing is perfect. And as it's getting all the fans up to speed and all set and together, we're going to be able to change those colors and alter it. It's going to look absolutely wild. So with that being said, let's go over one more time what's inside this amazing PC for Caleb in Pennsylvania. This is an Intel Core i9 14900K processor that has been mounted on an Asus ROG Strix Z690E Wi-Fi motherboard. It has 32 gigs of DDR5, 4800 RAM, and that boss of a graphics card is a GeForce RTX 4090. The operating system is on a 2TB Samsung 990 Pro NVMe M.2. Our CPU is going to be cooled by an Intermax Liquimax 3 ARGB 360 closed liquid cooler and 10 different Leon Lee UNI SL120 fans. The whole thing is being powered by a 1000 watt EVGA Supernova GT, and it comes with a set of white cable sleeves, which makes it look absolutely pristine. Well done, everybody. Well done. This is, I absolutely love this design, and depending on the colors you choose to go behind it is just also incredible. So, now, with that being said, we have got 2 different parts of the show today. as usual. We're going to take a break in just a few minutes. When we come back, you're going to get to spend the afternoon with Zach as Zach continues with some really incredible builds. And they're all going to happen right here on the show, so don't go away. Now, that being said, our show happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern. That is here on Kick at CLX, kick.com/CLX Gaming. Here on Twitch at twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. On YouTube at youtube.com/CLX Gaming. You can also follow us to keep up to date on all of the latest and greatest things going on with everything CLX. And that is CLX Gaming on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. If you'd like to join an amazing community of like-minded PC enthusiasts, head on over to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. So, with that being said, while you guys go play Let's Build More PCs, I'm going to go play some Dying Light 2. So, on behalf of Jason and Kyle in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up for you in just a few. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Alrighty, what is up, Scooby Gang? I hope everybody is having a fantastic start to their February month of awesomeness. I'm really looking forward to building this month's giveaway. Hello, hello, hello. Right now I've got a pretty sweet Neo Cube White edition for us. As you can see, we've got a sweet Rogue Strix B650, a gaming Wi-Fi. We're going to be slapping in a Ryzen 9 7950X3D, one of those bad boys, bad mahama jammas. We've got a sweet Lin Lee White 360 liquid cooler. We have a 2 terabyte NVMe 980 Pro, and then we have a 4 terabyte 870 QVO SSD. We are also going to be dropping in a 4060 Ti edition from Zotac over there, and we have a lovely Sonar SE sound card. So we are upgrading our audio that's built on, and we're going to clean it all off like we did that last system with White Cable Mod Kit. So let's get to hustling and bustling and see what we got. There's our 79 numbers. 7900 X3D. Boxes. Here's a box, there's a box. Imad's telling me to save my box. All right. So I am a big fan of the Strix boards. These things come fully loaded with all of the stuff that you could ever want on any cool motherboard. If you all have any questions, feel free to shout them out. I will do my very best. I have Twitch and Kick up, so if you have a question, ask it. I will do my very best to answer it, and we'll have a fun time building this all white build here. Alrighty, first things first, peel all these peels off. I want to make sure that we're getting all of our frames per second that we possibly could get. Ooh. Oh yes, I love building. How long does thermal paste usually last? That is a pretty good question. Depends on the quality of paste that we go with and how hot we let our system cook at for extended periods of time, but we should get some good years out of thermal paste, unless it was a light application at the beginning and there wasn't much put on, or just poor quality paste and we're wanting to do some overclocking stuff. Then we'll probably want to get some upgraded paste. If there is a size difference in fans, is there a way to calculate whether it's positive or negative pressure? So positive and negative pressure works with the quantity, not necessarily the size, unless you have like two 80 millimeters pulling in air and then two 200 millimeters exhausting air. It's usually like, do you have 7 fans in your system? Are 3 of them intake, or 4 of them intake and 3 exhausts? Or what is that combo of intakes to exhaust? This is not the giveaway. Hopefully we will be doing that on Thursday. And that is all I can say about that, because I'm really excited for it. We're wanting to take like one more extra day. I'm not gonna give nothing away, so don't anybody yell at me, but y'all kind of enjoyed that Oracle build. If you don't remember the Oracle build, that was the Halloween giveaway. A lot of customers were rather entertained by that because, you know, that was a pretty sweet, sick print job. Well, we kind of you know, if we're going hard one month, we're also going to go hard another month. So we've got a really cool design, and we're going to make it to where you can purchase it if you would like to. So we're just going to get that all worked out, and then we should be building it. Alrighty. I have here, this is a Lin Lee. Is this the Galahad? This is the Trinity. So with our Lin Lee fans and Corsair fans, a lot of the stuff that you guys have been seeing me build lately on stream, if you cannot find it on our website, these are a little bit more like customer requested parts. So we can do some things. They will take extra amount of time for us to have to order parts in, but we do specialty cases every once in a while, and liquid coolers every once in a while. I know I am trying to work with them in the back on having the Unu fans be one of our staple fans that we do offer. So if you're seeing me build it, it's because I am trying very hard to get it to where you can be purchasing it direct here soon. Okay, I want this off. This is a pretty fancy one. It comes with a bunch of faces for it, and we change it up. We don't have the Lin Lee design. It has a Lin Lee infinity mirror, or it can do a little ghost mirror, or it can have just a plain infinity mirror. So we like the solid mirror. It looks real good with the white cap. Looks real clean, and just like that. Okay, I need not Lin Lee stuff because we're not using those. I need. Don't think anything in there. So when you get a nice box unit liquid cooler, as you saw Paul opening up all the fun stuff and getting all the stuff out of that other one, they will come with a bunch of stuff for you to play with. Half of it you will need, the other half is not important to you, at least at that time. Is there any size difference in fans? How long does the next giveaway? Was hoping. Hype. Whoever wanted, congrats on the PC was built. Amazing. Dan, they got you building some of this time. I enjoy it. Okay. So, I have gotten everything out. I have a back plate for a 1700, which is Intel's 13th generation. I've got a 115X, which is for 10th and 11th generation. We have a nice little AMD section right here, which I like a lot because it comes with its own nuts, and those are usually the difficult thing to keep track of when we're wanting to use this on maybe a couple different systems in the future. So all of this stuff here is just used straight up for Intel retention kits, so I don't need this. So I am just going to put it right back in my box here. I will box this up and ship this back to my warehouse, where they will be able to organize it out. Okay. Boop. Put that in there too. Oh, righty then. That was not on proper. There we go. And so you'll want to make sure that you are using the right retention kits. Go over the manuals. I love reading manuals, saving manuals. Monster manuals are great. thermal paste. When it comes to applying thermal paste, yes, it doesn't last forever, but it can if you get some pretty nice quality stuff. How much is too much thermal paste? Is there such thing as too much thermal paste? If I put thermal paste in my RAM slots, does that overclock my RAM? These are all questions that are valid questions that I love hearing from you all. So, step one, no, sticking thermal paste in your RAM slots does not overclock your RAM. So please do not do that. Just a little bit of paste on your processor is perfect. About the size of a pea is the perfect amount. Then this does have a sticker on the back, so I want to peel that guy. And right there we go. This has a couple cables that come off of it, so we will get these stretched out and see where we can get them plugged into. Looks like we have a fan header. Typical that a cooling solution would need a fan header. We are also playing with a USB header that will allow us to change our colors on our screen here. And we have I believe this guy's the SATA, so that's going to power everything, and that's going to add all of the power that